Okay, so we're recording now. I'm Courtney Block. I'm the user engagement librarian here on campus, and I've got with me today Doctors Ranida and Ken Harris for our second edition of the Stories of IUS. And so again, this is just an opportunity to get to know the faces of IUS a little bit better. So Ranida and Ken, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and your story and maybe how you came to IUS, and we'll start there.
Well, I'll start because I came to IUS first then. My name is Ranida Harris, and I teach in the School of Business. I teach computer-related stuff. So the recent courses I teach would be business analytics related. So I'm more like a computer geek in the School of Business. I came to IUS in 2004. The fall of 2004, and that's right after I got my PhD from Florida State University.
Nice.
All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I came because I wanted to be with my wife, and so Ranida Harris is my wife. I'm very lucky there, and we both got our PhDs at Florida State. I'm a management person, so my PhD is in the management area. And when we were graduating, we wanted to get to the same place because we thought, wow, that'd be great for our relationship. We were just sort of engaged at the time. And I got a job at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. And Ranita got the job at IUS. And we were like, man, we want to be together. And so really lucky for me, a job came open at IUS. And I was lucky enough to get it. And so I've been here since 2005. I came a year after Ranita.
That's awesome. I know that it's not necessarily uncommon to find like duos and couples, you know, that sort of go to the same universities, but I don't know if there's many other examples of that, at least on our campus. And so, yeah, that's great. So what I like to do in this series is give people an opportunity to talk about their lives beyond IUS. And so I'd be interested to hear about any hobbies that you guys have or activities, you know, that you like to do just beyond who you are as professors.
Oh man, there was a lot going on outside the classroom that a lot of my students do not see. We have 3 children, and they are in the age of 11, 13, yeah, and 14. So they play soccer. They're very active in sports. They play music. So, and this is not different from a lot of parents that we know. We all have different hats that we wear. So I like to joke that, oh, after I'm done teaching, then my ride share shift is starting, because pretty much after school, I just drive the kids around. So they go to place, and but we still need to get things done. So try to balance it out. So after we drive the kids around, we come home, take care of them, and hop back on the computer, and we start working. So we just do different things, just like our students, that we wear different hats.
Yeah. And in terms of me, Courtney, you know, you brought up, you know, what are some of our hobbies and stuff. Ranita definitely nailed it. You know, we've got some of those. One of my hobbies, or one of the things I enjoy, is I do coach soccer. And so I grew up playing soccer. I was a big soccer player. And so I've been lucky enough to coach my kids. They still let me, they still like me. And so I recently, just a couple of days ago, I finished up coaching at the middle school, the local middle school. And so that was a lot of fun. And then probably my other biggest hobby is, for whatever weird reason, I've got a sickness. I enjoy endurance events. So I do long running events, triathlons. In fact, in October of 2021, I've got a 50-kilometer race. And then in November of 2021, I've got a 50-mile race. So
Wow.
that's probably one of my big hobbies that takes some free time. I really can't explain why I find it to be fun running for a long time, but I really do. I think of it as like a stress reliever.
Yeah.
It's a good time to get out in nature. It's a wonderful time to think. I used to run with music or headphones. I've done all that. And now I don't do any of that. I've got some running buddies, but I even enjoy running by myself. It's one of the few times with our kids and our jobs where I actually get to think and be by myself. So that's probably one of my biggest hobbies.
Nice.
So while Ken literally running around, my hobby, I like to do something different. I don't like running like he does, but I do enjoy reading. I like to cook. So those are what I would do just to when I have extra time to myself.
Nice. I was just about to ask Ken, like as you were talking about running, and even too, Renita, as you're like reading and cooking, I feel like there can often be a sense of like meditation involved in that, where you just sort of get so into the routine of something. And I can imagine, like you guys are saying, with, you know, 3 kids and just busy lives, that can sort of be unnecessary. Making time for that is necessary, probably.
Yeah, no, it's like Renita said. I mean, we're no different. We don't want to call our lives necessarily different than other people, but it is busy. And so you're absolutely right. When I run, and I actually love to run on trails because you have to really focus on the trail. There's always roots and leaves and rocks and sticks. Versus running on the road, you don't have to really think about it. You can think about something else, but there's a meditative aspect of running in trails because you got to really focus on that time. Otherwise, you end up on your face. You end up face first on the ground, and that's not a good thing. So,
Yeah. And I like, you know, sort of how you said that you guys both like to, you know, just reiterate to people like, hey, like we have these busy lives too, like outside of the university. We're not really that different from you. And I think that making time to talk about these things is really important, because I think that there's this sort of like mythos that develops around academia, and that develops around, you know, academic people, like, quote, academic people, you know, like I think that just creating these like sort of common bond moments is really important to show behind the veil, if you will.
Yeah, and I enjoy different activities that I do because, of course, there'll be stressful moments at work, or there'll be stressful moments with the kids, or when my cooking didn't go well. So this way, I feel like I have different channel that I can divert my energy to when things get difficult. So hard at work, go talk to the kids, go hang out with them. Then you feel better. Oh, kids are talking back to you. Oh, that's not fun. I'm going to go to the kitchen. I'm going to do something different. So by having different channel, I kind of channel my energy to different places. And it's kind of, it's working for me. How about that?
Yeah.
No, that's great. And you're absolutely right, Courtney. You know, like, how about this? We did get a lot of education. It's weird how much education we got, you know, getting a PhD and stuff. And it allowed us to get the jobs that we're in. And we like that a lot. But I always like to think, you know, when you talk about, you know, sort of the way academics can be viewed, I like to think that we're as normal as can be. You know, we also like to travel a lot. I love going to sporting events. At the beginning of the pandemic, we bought an RV that we can drive. And so sometimes we'll pull another vehicle with 5 bikes, and we get to go have family fun. So even though, you know, we you know, we work in academia and we have these kind of jobs, I like to think that we're very normal. And that's sort of one of the things that people might not recognize or realize.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because I think sometimes that there's a lot of assumptions that people have about, you know, people, especially faculty in academia. You know, I think even some people might even be surprised that you have like a big family, and stuff like that. So it's really great to, yeah, to just like talk about these things. And you brought up something that I wanted to talk about for a few minutes, which is travel. So you mentioned your RV, and also Ranita is a regular participant in the International Photo Contest. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about what are some of your maybe favorite local places to take your RV, and then what's a really amazing international memory you have?
I can start with the international trips that we truly miss seeing our family in Thailand. I'm originally from Thailand, and usually we'll go see them once every 2 years. And the last time we went was 2018. So with all the pandemic shutdown, we didn't get to go, but it's always fun to see different things, to put life in perspective, that what we have in the US is not necessarily that what going on in other places. And it's always fun for us to see, oh, well, this is the Dairy Queen in Thailand. We have Dairy Queen down the street from where we live. And they're small in Thailand. They're large, extra large in Thailand is smaller than our small here. kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's a difference. And they have the green tea flavor blizzard, that kind of stuff. So it's always fun to experience different things and see how they live, how they eat, how they do different stuff. So that's always a fun part for me, and I miss that.
Yeah, you know, there's no question. We've been very lucky, blessed, spoiled, whatever words you want to use to define it, to travel overseas a lot. And a lot of it's going to see Ranida's family, which was always a priority. Since I'm very near my family, I have to see them more often. And so she doesn't. So when we go to Thailand, we stay for a month. But we've also tagged on some cool trips since we're already halfway around the world in Asia. And so we've been lucky to go to some places that have been pretty fun. And some of that is we'll ask our boys, where would you like to go? And so, I mean, a couple of years ago before the pandemic, one of them said, oh, I'd love to go to the Taj Mahal. And we're like, wow, that sounds so extravagant. But once we were already in Asia, it wasn't near as expensive as just getting there from the United States. So we already had a head start on a lot of the expenses. And so, Courtney, maybe I can take some of your domestic trips. So like where have we enjoyed traveling? I'll do one this summer that sort of caught us by surprise. We decided to take an RV trip to Michigan. And we've gone out west a couple times. We've gone to Florida for a long time, but we decided to go to Michigan. We thought, oh, the weather during the summer, but we didn't really know that much about Michigan. In between going to beaches, between going to wineries, which was real fun. One day we did about a 20 or 30 mile bike ride to about 5 different wineries with our kids. And we brought Frisbees. They didn't drink wine, but we did, we enjoyed. But, you know, going up there and we picked cherries, we picked just an enormous amount of cherries, but I mean, it was a really fun, it was an easy to get to trip. You know, we could get there in one day and then just we could move around as much as we want. So we went to a number of different cities. And I mean, that was really unexpected. It wasn't like there was a major tourist thing to go to per se, like the Statue of Liberty or the Washington Monument. But there was a lot of sort of hidden gems that we really enjoyed.
I was about to say, I do like the Turkey Run State Park a lot. The one in Indiana. So we went there last year, right? Yeah, we went there last year. And we could have spent several days there. There's so many different hikes, and it's hard to believe that we're in Indiana. So if you haven't been, Courtney, you should check it out.
These are great comments and suggestions, because I think sometimes we can lose sight of what's in our own backyard, so to speak. And I think it's wonderful that you have the opportunity to visit your family as often, you know, as it sounds like you do. That's wonderful. And then also, yeah, just sometimes I think, you know, taking a look at, okay, what's near that I haven't maybe ever really thought about, because I just consider this like, you know, this is home, and, you know, maybe I have this desire to go really far. And I think the pandemic has really helped us kind of discover those hidden gems, if you will, that are in just, you know, the local area, or at least given us the opportunity to see our spaces in a different way.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And it's funny because I chatted in our first issue of this, I chatted with Dr. Subranil Day, and he was talking about that and his like photography. And he told this really wonderful and kind of funny story about how when he was being interviewed, somebody had told him, you can't really see it now because it's foggy and it's misty, but there's beautiful hills and, you know, like cliffs and outcroppings. And he was just sort of like, yeah, right. This is Indiana. We'll see about that when I, you know, and he got here and he was like, wow, I never knew.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely true. Sometimes there's these hidden gems, you know, and so, you know, when you say that, Courtney, I mean, that has been something that we push for. When it comes to traveling in the RV, if it's just going to be you know, an hour or two away, we find ourselves being like, we can just drive there and drive back, you know, at night. And so there isn't as much need to take the RV. But again, like I said, Michigan, you can get there, you know, maybe 5 hours. And so you can really start to be like, oh, it doesn't have to be like when you said those long trips are more extravagant. That I think sometimes when people think of the RV, or maybe they're like, oh, I want to go out west, or I want to go to Yellowstone. And those are amazing. We've done it. But that takes a lot longer to get to. That's a much more substantial trip.
Right. And I think that, like you were talking, Ranita, about getting different perspectives on things and seeing things a little differently, and how that's one of your favorite parts of traveling internationally. I think that we also get that traveling nearby, like 5, 6, 10 hours away, just seeing things a little differently. Yeah. And so I know that you guys have a few things that you've got to get to today, but I want to end with the same sort of silly question that I ended with Dr. Day. And that is, what's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy? Gotta be Twix.
Twix.
Yeah, the combination between the crunchy cookies and caramel and yeah, so that'll be my favorites.
Nice.
All right. And for me, my guilty candy pleasure would be Reese's peanut butter cups. Just
Yes.
absolutely love them. So, and I mean, if I could have a second one, I'd go atomic fireball. I mean, it's just easy, stick it in your mouth and sort of, you got the little hotness. Yeah, my wife doesn't like it. I got a couple of kids who like it with me. And then at the end, it's sort of a sweet tart. So, I mean, if I can do 2 of them.
Why do you have many? It's supposed to be like your favorite.
I know. And if I can do my third favorite, okay, I'm just kidding. We'll stop there.
Well, this question has been really interesting because Dr. Day we launched into this whole conversation about chocolate and it was really wonderful. And I just, one of those little silly questions that like, when are you ever going to get to ask that? Or, I don't know.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for being with me here today. And in our second installation of Stories of IUS, thank you so much again for your time.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thanks, Courtney. We appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thanks.